how can I get you all excited about this album by the French artist Yamê? It's called Ébem, and it's like one of the most interesting stories in pop music, one of the most interesting pop musicians, an interesting mixture of like rap and pop and R&B and a beautiful voice and an amazing story, but it's in French and it's a French guy. So how do I get you to care? I've got a couple of framing devices and I want you to help me, okay? The first one is this dude could be the French Doechii. I don't know, is that good? Is that good? Or the second one was, what if the Thong Song was an entire album, serious and in French? So you tell me in the comments, one or two, which of those is better? I mean, the idea behind the French Doechii thing is just that this guy is, a new artist, an overnight artist who's been working for years, much like Doechii. He's skilled as a rapper, skilled as a singer, much like Doechii. There's just something like a certain it factor, a certain like undeniable power and charisma and strength to him, in addition to just a very clear sort of message of strong blackness in a world which is largely anti-black. Just the kind of artist where you just go, wow, like he's everything. The same way you might say that about Doechii. Now, as far as the Thong Song goes, Thong Song is one of my favorite songs of the '90s because it's ridiculous. It's this overwrought ode to underwear, but underneath it's a really well constructed, super epic song that's really well written. So like, what if there was more music like that wasn't about underwear? I had other ideas. I thought of calling this guy the French Bee Gees because, I mean, seriously, he puts the Bee Gees to shame with his ability to sing in falsetto in an effective way. I thought about calling him the French Stromae, which, Stromae is French. No, much like French fries, he's Belgian, okay? But he is very clearly inspired by Stromae, and I listened to it with my daughter, who's a huge Stromae fan. We went to a Stromae concert together and everything, and she's like, geez, this guy's trying to be Stromae. And I said, okay, maybe, but you do it. What's the point of starting a revolution if nobody follows you? Nobody can follow Stromae because what he does is so incredible. So if there's anybody who can even remind you a little bit of him, well, that's not a bad thing. Also, if you know Maître Gims, maybe in that same kind of like singing, rapping. So I had all these ideas because I just want you to check out this artist. I want you to check it out. And it's Bastille Day. Okay, well, not today. Technically, Bastille Day is on the 14th of July. I hope you know that. I'm releasing this a little bit early because this is a crazy week for music, and I've already prepared this video. I used to kind of make fun of the French for Bastille Day because they're celebrating their first republic, but they're on their fifth republic, and the coolest thing about America is that we've had one continuous republic. But we might need a second. There's a non-zero chance we could use another republic at some point. So I don't know. I'm not going to laugh too hard. But the reality of France, and this is a reality that's shown in this music, is that France is much like America, a country of immigration. The immigration largely comes from former colonies, former places that they extracted for their wealth. And as is the example from Yamê, whose father, the sun is beating down. This is going to be a hot video, y'all. Which makes sense because I'm talking about someone whose family is from Cameroon and Senegal. Now, maybe you don't even know where Senegal is or Cameroon is. Look them up on a map. We're talking West Africa, former French colonies. Cameroon is the home of my new favorite basketball player, Pascal Siakam from the Pacers. Did you watch him play? Man, that guy can play. His name, Yamê, comes from a language of Cameroon called Mbo, M-B-O. I don't know how to pronounce that. Mbo, that's how I'm going to say it. It means verb. So his father was like a musician and a poet from Cameroon. I'm actually going to include a link down in the description of some of his music. It's amazing hearing him play guitar and sing. And he has a whole video where he's flying around on a magic carpet, old 90s style. It's awesome. So that's his dad. And then his mom is a computer scientist at Microsoft. Okay, so that's interesting. His mom dies. He moves back to Cameroon from France, goes to college in France, gets a master's in data science. And then all this while, he's teaching himself science. So the biopic, this guy you've never heard of, I've now crafted this whole story, and you're into it, I hope, that he has this poet, artist father, and he has a computer scientist mother, and he gets a degree in data science and then becomes a famous poet musician, right? It's beautiful. It's a beautiful story. It's an absolutely beautiful story because when you actually listen to this guy's music, you're going to be like, oh my God. So he starts covering songs on the internet, just like everybody. A little bit of rap, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. He's really inspired by the guy behind me over there, Charles Aznavour, okay? My favorite album cover, one of my favorite album covers of all time, Il faut savoir, you gotta know. I just love how he's like eating that fruit and he's like, hey, gross. He covers some Stromae and he learns how to self-produce. Like he produces a lot of his own work, like himself, because he's a musician and a rapper and a singer. This guy's one of those guys where you go, how can this guy do all these things that this guy does? He's like one of these post-genre rappers. And in America, largely, we reserve post-genre rappers for female rap artists, right? That's where you get to be an R&B singer and a pop singer and a rapper. You get to do all those things. In general, American men, we tend to just like them be one or the other or the other. He is all those things all in one. Kind of mixes together. So I'm just going to give you 3 songs that you should listen to off this full album. The whole album is great, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a sampler. We're going to start off with the song Insensé, which kind of means like insane. Click to a link up there to hear it, right? And it's just a rap song. It's showing that he can just rap. It's a political song. J'ai la dalle et la satiété. Je connais pas, je suis tenace comme un sale béquet. So it's like I'm hungry and I'm full. I don't know. I'm tenacious like a dirty colonist. Béquet is a term for a colonist, someone who might look like me and own a lot of property and land in a place like Cameroon. And a really strong political term, right? C'est pas le succès qui me ferait taire, je défendrai mes terres comme mes ancêtres. It's not success that'll get me to shut up. I'll defend my land like my ancestors. And all the clips I'm going to send you, they're all in English. I mean, they're all in French, but they're all subtitled in English. And the subtitles are fine. Not great. A little bit off from time to time, but still. Okay? Seeing as everywhere I go, I am... Okay, so it's not quite the N-word in French, but it's close enough, so I'm not going to say it. But it gives you the indication that he has that sense, no matter how high he climbs, how much work he does, how successful he is, he will always be seen that way. And he has a whole ending verse saying, like, fuck you and your dad if you think that immigrants took the job that you already rejected. Awesome, political, great rapping. You're going to hear the singing in the back. This guy's doing everything. He's co-producing it. It slows down and it's 2 minutes. 2 minutes of just musical, I don't know, perfection. It's unbelievable. Next song is Shoot. So he does personal stuff, he does political stuff, and then he does something that's in the tradition of what is called chanson in French. Chanson means song, and it applies to music that has a little bit more distance. It's more poetic, it's more based on words, and it's more based on general thinking. It's not so much about one's actual lived experience. This is like a cross between those things because it's essentially a public service announcement about cannabis dependency, which is a very real thing. And he talks about having cannabis dependency. I'll have you watch the video, follow the link to see that too. Let's see if we can get that link up there. It's kind of trappy, kind of not, kind of melismatic. Je me carbonise. I'm like burning myself down. And he talks about how tomorrow I'll stop. Tomorrow I'll stop. And he talks about how it's a bullet in the head. And I love it because I think it's important. I think it's important that marijuana stays legal. It is very important that all cannabis is never made illegal and that no one spends a single second of their life in jail. It's also really important that people stop smoking weed too much. It's also really important that people don't fall into the trap of cannabis dependency, which is a really dangerous dependency, and not enough people are talking about it because it's not an A or B argument. It's not either legalize it or throw them in jail. It can be legalize it and also, you know, probably don't do it. Probably if you want to have a meaningful, fulfilling life, don't self-medicate with something that dulls you so much. Probably, not necessarily, definitely, but probably. Then the third song is entirely self-produced. It basically sounds like an African song. It's called Supporter. And it's all about like, I can't take these low blows anymore. And there's some like African slang in there and English, and French slang. And that's the whole thing, you know, like French music that comes from people who have immigrated. It's like a mixture of French and the native language. I've done a lot of videos on that, but it's amazing. Like all this great, like all these harmonies and clapping, and he harmonizes with himself, and it's kind of joyous, and it's this beautiful song, and it's like he does it all himself. It's like he's in conversation with his father and his father's generation. All right? Did that get you to try to check out this album? I can go through the rest of the album. It's all super good. Like the first song is his dad talking about the meaning of the album title, which means a sacred place. I can talk about the first real song called Solo, all about this like piano, the sweet piano, and his desire to be alone in his swimming pool, and his super high opera notes. I mean, can anyone sing as well as this guy? Have you heard how well he sings? Have you heard how well he sings? He sings like an angel. A whole song called Moto, all about riding on a motorcycle, which is, kind of tied into the idea of being alone, isolation and joy, maximal production. This was the song that got me to think of the thong song. Bizarre's got kind of Latin beats, problems, a little bit more of those Latin beats, all about his problems, which reminds me of my brother. My brother Amos used to make fun of me because he'd watch me teach. He would tease me. He'd say, that's the way I taught French, because he doesn't speak French. He'd watch me sometimes, come in and watch my classes, and he'd say the whole time, he'd be like this. Un petit problème. Un petit problème. So that made me laugh. Just this high falsetto, méprise, which means bitterness. Also one of my favorite French movies. Le mépris, the searching bass. Le roi is the most Stromae singing, the pronouncing. That's about the king. And it's all about how a king is blinded by his richness and he doesn't see the shadows in the blackness. Beautiful, poetic. Céline is its most poetic song with these bongos opening, and it's like everything that he wanted. And this woman is like his Trojan horse. This great shuffle, this amazing vibe, this ridiculous effort on how he harmonizes with the outro. Comment vient deux? It's a song that's my least favorite song on the album, but it's also the most catchiest. It's like this breakup song. And then a song called Happy End. Do you know how you say happy ending in French? Happy ending. Because the French don't need happy endings in their movies, everybody. They don't need it. You don't need their life doesn't have happy endings. So if you're going to have true cinema, you can't have happy endings all the time. Warbled, broken sounds, and it's all about it's about the grind. Actually, it's using the term charbonner, which means like the grind, which actually means like turn into carbon. Like it's actually like carbonizing yourself. So it's like, what's the point if you're not going to have a happy end of grinding? I think that speaks to our current grind culture, our current all that. God, I'm about to get super sunburned. And he even makes direct reference to your man, Charles Aznavour, a big finish. And then the end song, In 10 Years, Dans 10 Ans, it's cool shuffling beat with a gentle outro. So there you go, everybody. Check out Yamê. Check out Ébem. I promise you've not heard anything like it in your entire life. Is that enough? Is that enough to get you to listen to Ébem by Yamê? Y-A-M-E with an accent circumflex, which doesn't actually get pronounced like that in French, but I assume it's from the Mbo language that's pronounced like that. All right, we got some summer insects behind me making those noises. All right, we got to go, everybody. Happy Bastille Day for all of you who celebrate. Immigration is the lifeblood of any good democracy. There's the camera.